Friends, myself Professor Khemchand Surana. In previous sessions, we have started the antiviral agents. In that, we have seen the introduction of antiviral agents, the structure of viruses, life cycle of viruses. Again, we have seen the different virus receptors, then antiviral therapy. Then we have started with the classification of antiviral agents, and we have seen the different kinds of classification of antiviral agents. Further, we have started with the details of every class of antiviral agents. In that, we have seen the nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. Again, the details of that we have seen already. Further, we have started the non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. In again these non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors, we have seen the details of every drug. And further, we have started the anti-HIV agents. In anti-HIV agents, there are two categories, that is what reverse transcriptase inhibitors and HIV protease inhibitors. So this first class, that is what reverse transcriptase inhibitors, that already we have seen. In that, we have seen the different drugs, that is what didanosine, zalcitabine, zidovudine, lamivudine, etc. So now in today's session, we will start with the, that is what HIV protease inhibitors or protease inhibitors. So in this category, there what different drugs, that is what scavinavir is there, then indinavir is there. The structure of these two drug is given over here. So in scavinavir, there is what quinoline basic structure, and again the kind of fragment is there. Further, there is what indinavir, pyridine is initially is given over here. So these are what the structures of scavinavir and indinavir. So just need to draw in your notebooks. Further, in this category, there is what ritonavir is given. So here is what isothiazole is given at both ends. So the isothiazole ring is given in this ritonavir. Further, nelfinavir is also one more drug in this class of HIV protease inhibitors. So these are what four drugs from these HIV protease inhibitors, that is what scavinavir, indinavir, ritonavir, nelfinavir. So these are what the four HIV protease inhibitors. So further, we have seen the mechanism of we have to see the mechanism of action of these HIV protease inhibitors. So how it will be act basically. So the mechanism of action of these HIV protease inhibitors is that, so basically they will reversibly bind to the active side of HIV is HIV aspartic protease enzyme and interferes with its cleaving function basically. So how they will act, these whatever HIV protease inhibitors, they will form the reversible bond with the aspartic protease enzyme, whatever the HIV aspartic protease enzyme is there. So they will reversibly form the bond between these drug and these aspartic protease enzyme, and after forming this bond, they were interfering with its cleaving function because they act at the late stage of the viral cycle. They are effective against both newly as well as chronically affected cells. So again, these kinds of drugs were useful in the late stage viral cycle, as also as well as whatever the chronically infected cells also and newly infected cells also. So this is what the mechanism of action of these HIV protease inhibitors. So protease inhibitors were the second class of antiretroviral drugs. So the first is what reverse transcriptase inhibitor, and this protease is what second class of antiretroviral drugs. The first member of this class is basically scavinavir, ritonavir, were approved in the during the 1995 and 1996 basically. So scavinavir, ritonavir, these are what the first developed drugs. Then later indinavir, nelfinavir, amprinavir, boceprevir, telaprinavir, these kinds of drugs were introduced into the market. So further, the metabolism of these drugs is, so initially we'll see the metabolism of scavinavir. So scavinavir, metabolism of scavinavir is catalyzed by CYP3A4. So how it will be catalyzed? By using this CYP3A4 and possibly by also CYP3A5 also. So the metabolites are basically mono and dihydroxylated compounds which are not active. So again, these cavinae are metabolized by these two cytochrome enzymes, and whatever they are the metabolites, that is what mono as well as dihydroxylated compounds which will form after metabolism, these are not active. So further, the metabolism of ritonavir is that, so ritonavir is metabolized by the CYP3A4 enzyme, and the metabolites are isolated from the urine basically. So it is what excreted through the urine, so that's why it is what isolated from the urine, and they are isopropyl thiazole oxidation product, means after metabolized by these 3YP3A4 enzyme, they were excreted in urine, means isolated in the urine, and whatever their metabolites are what isopropyl thiazole oxidation products. So this is what metabolism. Now further we'll discuss the adverse effect of these HIV protease inhibitors. So these are what the adverse effect of whatever HIV protease inhibitors. In that, paresthesia is there, diarrhea is there, nausea, vomiting, then hypertriglyceridemia is there, hyperglycemia, and hypercholesteremia. So these are what all adverse effect of these HIV protease inhibitors. So this is what about all the anti-HIV drugs we have seen. The initially reverse transcriptase inhibitor and then further HIV protease inhibitors. Now that is what last class from these antiviral agents is what miscellaneous agents. So in miscellaneous agent, basically these two agents, that is what phoscarnate sodium and ribavirin. So phoscarnate is what phosphonate derivative, and ribavirin you can see that is what triazole ring is there basic. So these are what two miscellaneous drugs from this antiviral class, phoscarnate sodium and ribavirin. So just draw this structure in your notebook. So further we'll discuss first drug, that is what ribavirin. So ribavirin structure is given over here. So ribavirin is a guanosine analog. So it will work by the inhibition of RNA polymerase. So mechanism is what basically inhibiting RNA polymerase enzyme. So ribavirin is basically guanosine analog and inhibited this RNA polymerase enzyme. Further, the antiviral spectrum is like that DNA and RNA viruses are susceptible, and including influenza and para-influenza viruses, RSV and Lassa viruses. So these DNA and RNA virus were susceptible to these drugs basically, and it will include these influenza, para-influenza viruses, RSV viruses and Lassa viruses basically. So these drugs are distribution in all body tissues except CNS, means they were distributed into whole body except the CNS part only. So the administration is basically, it will this ribavirin is given either oral, IV, then inhalation in RSV basically. So jaundice and anemia, these are what the two basic adverse effect of these ribavirin, and this drug has been advised to not given into the pregnancy. So this is what details about ribavirin. Now further phoscarnate sodium. So phoscarnate sodium structure already we have seen. So this is what inorganic pyrophosphate analog basically, and unrelated to any nucleic acid precursor, means it is not related to, or whatever the structure is not related to nucleic acid is there. So this is what inorganic pyrophosphate analog is there. So it is directly inhibit the viral DNA and RNA polymerase. So how it will work basically, so it will inhibit the viral DNA and RNA polymerase as well as viral inverse transcriptase enzyme. They will inhibit, means they will inhibit polymerase enzyme as well as inverse transcriptase enzyme, both enzyme. So it does not require any phosphorylation for their antiviral activity, means whatever how basically it means whatever the antiviral drugs, Some kinds they were require the phosphorylation. Further, we have seen already in reverse transcriptase inhibitor, whatever the zolcitabine or didanosine were there, so they were converted into initial zolcitabine monophosphate, then diphosphate, then triphosphate, then they will show their antiviral activity. So this phoscarnate sodium, basically they were not require any kind of phosphorylation for their antiviral activity. So the oral viability of these drug is near about 10 to 20%, and they were given IVly and distributed throughout the all tissues of the body except the CNS. Sorry, also included the CNS, means ribavirin will not distributed into CNS, but this phoscarnate sodium will distributed into the CNS. So this is what the difference between ribavirin and phoscarnate sodium. So this point should be the important in your GPAD examination. So the adverse effect of these phoscarnate sodium is like hypocalcemia, hypomagnesemia. So hypocalcemia and hypomagnesemia is because of due to the chelation of the drug with divalent cations. So this is what the common side effects of this phoscarnate sodium. So also it is neurotoxic agent, then nephrotoxic is there, then renal diabetes and anemia. So these are what all basic adverse effect of this phoscarnate sodium. So now further today we will discuss about the synthesis from these chapters. So basic there are two syntheses they were asked in examination from these antiviral agents, that is what the nevirapine synthesis and synthesis of scavinavir. So these two syntheses were asked in examination. So one by one we'll see the each synthesis. So the first given over here, that is what synthesis of nevirapine. So this synthesis of nevirapine were started from the two starting material, that is what given over here. You can see the first starting material, that is what 2-chloro-4-methyl pyridine 3-amine, given the structure over here. Just draw this synthesis in your notebook. So plus 2-chloro-nicotinyl chloride. So these 2-chloro-4-methyl pyridine amine and 2-chloro-nicotinyl chloride will react with each other in the presence of sodium hydride. So what will happen basically, so amide bond will be formed between these two bond, and there is what new intermediate will form. You can see the first intermediate after reaction between these two intermediate in the presence of sodium hydride. Further, the cyclopropyl amine, in the presence of this cyclopropyl amine, so HCl will remove, and this cyclopropyl by removal of one HCl from this pyridine ring, one Cl and hydrogen from cyclopropyl amine, removal of HCl, you will get the another intermediate called as N2-chloro-4-methyl pyridine 3-vial 2-chloro-psychopropyl amino nicotinamide. The intermediate is given over here. Further, the cyclization will occur in the presence of sodium hydride. By removal of HCl will get the nevirapine. So this is what the synthesis of nevirapine. So it will be asked for 3 examination. It will be asked in examination for 3 marks. So it is what important as per your examination. So this is first synthesis. So now second synthesis, that is what synthesis of scavinavir. So in this synthesis of scavinavir there are 3 steps basically. So the first step is what synthesis of intermediate A, second step synthesis of intermediate B, and third step is condensation of intermediate A and B. So one by one every step will be C. So the first step is what synthesis of N-T-butyl dicahydroisoquinoline 3-carboxamide. So this intermediate we can call intermediate A, that's why in bracket A is given over here. So how it will be synthesized basically, so by using the starting material 2-amino 3-propyl propionic acid in the presence of this formaldehyde and HCl, HCHO and Cl. So there is what cyclization will occur. So we'll get 1,2,3,4 tetrahydroisoquinoline 3-carboxylic acid. So this is what first intermediate. Further, this will be treated with hydrogen and rhodium catalyst, RH catalyst. Okay, so what will happen basically, so whatever the unsaturated bond in this first benzene ring, that will be nullify, means we'll get decahydroisoquinoline 3 carboxylic acid. So this is what second intermediate. Further, on this intermediate there are 4 steps will be carried out. So first step is what, N protection. There is what, nitrogen over here, so nitrogen protection will be there. Then further acid is there, COH. Second is what, in the presence of DCC. Okay, so COOH activation is there. Further, this is what, tertiary amine will treated with this acid. And next one is what, in the presence of this palladium catalyst, there is what, ND protection. In first step we have protected this nitrogen, and in last step we have to deprotect. Why this protection and deprotection chemistry? Because the number of reagents and intermediates is involving, so any kind of intermediate or reagent will react with nitrogen, that's why. So that is what need of nitrogen protection and nitrogen deprotection. So these 4 steps are involved. So after these 4 steps we'll get these intermediate A, that is what, N tertiary butyl decahydro isoquinoline 3 carboxamide. So this is what step first. Now step second is what, that is what, intermediate B, the synthesis of benzyl 4 chloro 3 hydroxy 1 phenyl butane 2 vial carbamate. Okay, so the starting material is for this is what, 2 amino 3 phenyl propionic acid. So starting material is given, again in presence of these ester chloride kind of thing, C6H5CH2O OCl, and this azide CH2N2. So we'll get the first intermediate, that is what, benzyl 4 diazo 3 oxo 1 phenyl butane 2 vial carbamate. So by this what, there is what, removal of HCl from this intermediate, will get benzyl 4 chloro 3 oxo 1 phenyl butane 2 vial carbamate. And again we'll treated with this sodium borohydrate and hydrogen. So whatever the ketone will be there over here, that will convert it into the OH, means reduction of ketone into the OH. So we'll get these intermediate B called as benzyl 4 chloro 3 hydroxy 1 phenyl butane 2 vial carbamate. So this is what, intermediate 2. This is step second. Now step third. Step third is what, condensation of intermediate A and intermediate B. So intermediate A is given over here and intermediate B is given here. So both were reacted at 60 degrees Celsius. So there is what, HCl will be removed and will get this kind of intermediate. The structure is given over here. Further, this will treated with this palladium catalyst and DCC in the presence of this amide acid kind of thing. This intermediate, again this intermediate is maybe commercially not available, so need to synthesize, then it will be reacted. So we'll get this benzyl 1,4,3 tertiary butyl carbamoyl octahydroisoquinoline kind of this intermediate. So further this will treated with these whatever the quinolic acid structure given over isoquinoline is, and there is what, COOH is there. So quinoline acid structure is there, so it will treated in the presence of this palladium catalyst and DCC. So by treatment with these two we'll get the scavinavir. So this is what the synthesis of scavinavir, quite complex synthesis of this scavinavir. So just need to remember all these 3 steps, because this synthesis will ask in 10 marks question, like explain the classification of antiviral agent with SAR and mode of action, and write down the synthesis of scavinavir. So these kinds of question ask. So this scavinavir is quite important as per your examination, so just draw in your notebook and practice it. So 3 steps were important. So now thank you. So here the chapter of antiviral agent has been finished. So in next lecture we'll start new chapter. Till that, thank you and happy learning.